Hey, what's up guys, and welcome back to Anime King 2. And today I'm going to be giving you part 12 of What If Naruto Pushed Himself to His Limit. Remember to get this one to 300 like as usual. Share this to all of your friends in your social media platform. And also, stay in tune for What If Naruto's Sasuke King over on Anime King. And I'm also going to be posting a brand new episode of What If Naruto was from the two greatest clans. So stay tuned for that, and I hope you guys enjoy. And later on this channel, I'm going to be posting a new episode of What If Naruto got his memories sealed away. So stay tuned for that as well. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time hearing my voice, and you enjoy the videos on both Anime King and Anime King 2, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and support. And remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. So yeah, without further ado, let's begin this new episode. Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, Tsunade was happy that Naruto was officially a part of the council now, seeing that he was there to put Danzo and those old bats in their place. As a man spoke about Naruto and told him that he's not better than everyone else just because he's in some clan, as the man told him that he's still a demon brat. As Naruto asked Tsunade if the law that the third put up is still in place, she told him yes. With one well-placed Hiraishin Kuna, Naruto flashed towards the man and drive a Rasengan right into his skull, after asking him if he had a family. As, seeing that he didn't have any family, Naruto would have spared him if he had, but Naruto just delivered pure death. As the other council members were shocked, well, the civilian part, as Naruto was disappointed in all of them, and that he told them, for calling the fourth Hokage their greatest hero, and they put his sacrifice to shame. If he was here right now, he would be disappointed in all of them. Later that night, Naruto was invited to the Hyuga compound. Hinata was beyond shocked when she saw him there, as Hanabi wondered why their father invited this boy here, as Naruto was trying to make Hanabi come out of her stuck-up Hyuga phase as well, seeing that he saw that within her. But other than that, she was a nice kid. As Hayashi spoke to Naruto after they finished their meal, as he wanted her to help in removing the cage bird seal and uniting the clan. Seeing that Minato was trying to help him with a seal to negate that seal, as Naruto would work on it and give him the progress soon. Upon leaving, Naruto realized Minato was following him, as he told her she could come out, as she came out and confessed her love to him. As Naruto told her that he didn't like her, he tried to put her down gently. She ran off, but he decided to stop her because he knew if he didn't explain, things would be very bad. As she was so sad and angry, she tried to strike him, but he grabbed her and held on to her tight. She broke down and cried in his shoulder, as he let her saw that she didn't really like him. She liked what he stand for, and liked the courage and strength that he gave her. As the both of them could still be friends, he told her, and she was happy to be friends. She just had to find her own path now. The next morning, Naruto showed off his seals, as the clan members were shocked to see the seals that Naruto, as he placed one on Tatsumi. As the ropes that were bound in her exploded as a violent blade of wind came and ripped them apart. It was based off her feelings. So, she didn't even have to use chakra. If her chakra was bound, she would be safe. Even the anti-rip seal, as Shikaku tried to go near to her, but the electric pulse came out and shocked him. As Naruto told him if it was on full force, his hand would have been gone, and any other part that he might have used. As everyone was impressed by the seals, as this will help a lot of young Kunoichi out there, and help a lot of captive ninjas. So yeah guys, that was basically as we left off. You guys can switch across to the place and check out for yourself. So, what do you say we start this new episode? It was currently the day of the announcement, and Naruto was looking over Konoha at all of the people. It seemed like all of Konoha came, everyone. As he was standing between Tatsumi and Hayashi, as Nade was out on the podium in front of them. As Nade held up her hand to silence the crowd, as she began her speech. People of Konoha, I am here to introduce, or perhaps say reintroduce a man that you all might know. There was a slight rumble through the crowd, as everyone wondered what she was talking about. Who? This man has just got back from a training trip with my teammate, Jiraiya of the Sanin. I am sure by now you all know who I'm talking about. I would like to introduce you to the new clan head of the Uzumaki Namikaze clan, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. Naruto smiled as Nade said that it was one of his agreements. He had refused to give his mother name. Not because he's been a Uzumaki for so long, but he wanted to also honor both of his parents. He flipped one of his Harushin, kunais, and threw it towards Nade, as he then vanished and appeared in a yellow flash. As Naruto resisted the urge to grin, as everyone was shocked, seeing the fearsome technique. As he raised his hand, I would like to thank all of you for coming today. I, Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, vow, as the Uzumaki Namikaze clan head, I will do all that in my power to protect the great tree that is Konoha. A roar swept through the crowd as people cheered for him, praising his name and clapping. Naruto made them do that, knowing that what he had to say next would not make him popular with some of the people here. But before we leave in celebration today, I would like to inform you of something important. Many people start to whisper, wonder what he could possibly tell them. Even Snade was kind of surprised since they didn't do anything like this in the rehearsal, as he just gave a reassuring smile before he continued. A little over 16 years ago, a great beast known as the Kyuubi attacked the village. Many people died in an effort to stop its rampage. And just when all hope seemed lost, my father, the fourth Hokage, defeated the demon, using a self-sacrificing jutsu to slay the creature. This is a history that we're all taught. As he spoke, many of them paled, realizing what he was talking about. But I'm going to tell you right now what you have been taught was a lie. As everyone gasped, the younger generation wondered what he meant, and the older generation felt dread well up in their guts. So he told them about the Kyuubi's real defeat, setting in motion the action to let him know who really respected him and who just wanted to use him. This was a catalyst that will start his life in Konoha, for the better or for the worse. Time skip. As the sunlight started to shine through the bedroom, Naruto started to stir in his bed. The first thing he noticed was the weight that was on his chest, and the fact that it was breathing. Looking down, he smiled. As he looked down the still sleeping Koyoki, who was nuzzled up in his chest. He continued to lay there for a while, and just admired the woman, Naruto-kun, as she was sleeping and calling his name. As her hand came up and placed on his chest, it was the one he placed the ring on. Like the others, this ring had the same seals applied into it, and also a seal that could allow her to use the hench jutsu to make her hide her appearance, as she could change her appearance into one of the people she knew from memory. It worked the same way Naruto anti-rape seal worked, as it stored chakra from all around. She could also activate it on her own since Naruto showed her how to use chakra, though she had a civilian amount, so it was only enough to activate seals in the ring, as he hoped she wouldn't need it. As for the ring itself, the bang was made out of white silver with flowers, snowflake flowers running around it. In the center was a gemstone, a jewel that will change color depending on the environment. The jewel itself was cut in the shape of the Harunohune, national flower, and 9 tails surrounding it in a protective fashion. On either side of the gem was a diamond, as one cut in a blooming snowflake, another in a blooming flower. After a while, Naruto gently rolled her over and extracted himself from their last night activities. As he rolled her over, brushing some hair from her face, as he gave her a kiss on her head. As he put on his pants, as he went outside on the balcony, it looked to be around 5 AM here. That meant he had more time before he can leave. As he continued to enjoy the sunset, a pair of arms wrapped around him. Naruto smiled as he turned around into Koyuki's grip, as he lifted her face by her chin and planted a gentle kiss on her lips, which she highly returned. As they then broke the kiss. "Morning, Yukihime," Naruto said, making her smile. "How did you sleep?" Do you even need to ask, Koyuki said, with an amused grin. That good, huh? Naruto said. Well, I'm going to have to be careful from now on. After the things we did yesterday, even with the protection, I might end up knocking you up, he said. She gave his chest a playful slap. You shouldn't say such thing in a cruel fashion. Well, speaking of knocking me up, the council has been asking questions about our relationship. They have been asking if I have plans on marrying you. They're hoping that I would produce a strong heir. We will announce our relationship soon, but you know, we can't do it right now. Naruto said the apologetic smile. He did not want their relationship getting out until he took care of Madara and the rest of the Akatsuki. Especially, out of all the women he loved, she was by far the most vulnerable, being a civilian and all. Even though she had many samurais who offered her protection. None of them would hold a candle to one of the Akatsuki members. Much worse, Pain or Madara. I know, said Koyuki as she leaned against his chest. They stayed like that for several minutes before Koyuki broke away. We should probably get something to eat, she said. Alright, I could use a large breakfast right now anyway, with all that energy we used up last night. As his eyes trailed over her body. Perv, she said, as she turned around and walked back inside. But Naruto wrapped his arms around her as he nibbled on her ear. You say that like it's a bad thing. Besides, we both know who the real pervert is, as she moaned a bit with him nibbling on her ear. And it was true enough. While she didn't have the libido like me, she often have a lot of fantasies, and they will play out the naughty nurse, the schoolgirl, and teacher, and the master and the servant, and her favorite, the hero and the princess. Hey, not fear, Koyuki said as a blush spread across her cheeks. Her entire body turned to butter as he was nibbling on her ear. You know you love it, he said. As the idea came to him, you know, we're still pretty dirty from last night. Why don't we get cleaned up in the shower? Koyuki smiled. I think you just want some more alone time with me, she said. True enough, I can never get enough alone time with you. So, is that a yes? Koyuki spun around as she jumped, as he caught her right in his arms. Lead the way, master, she said, as he simply chuckled. Time skip, Tsunade sighed, as she did a triple amount of paperwork. As she remembered what Naruto did, she never expected to do something daring like that and tell everyone about his Jinchuriki status. Well, it had some change of possibilities on the younger folks, as they turned angry eyes on their older generation, their parents, for how they treated Naruto and how they kept this away from them. As everyone knew how Naruto was treated badly in his childhood, since most parents told their children to stay away from him, and that he was nothing but trouble. Well, it was not until Tsunade told everyone about his heritage, when the older generation had changed. They went from hating his guts to praising the last Namikaze, but they were unable to do that after Naruto revealed his status, unless they want to seem like liars in front of their children, which they were already dangerously close to be seen as. As she sighed, finishing the paperwork from that, she reached down to the jaw. A big frown came on her face as her sake that she always kept in here was gone. No doubt Shizune removed it. As she sighed, deciding to get some sleep, she placed her head on the table. Or at least she would have, if a blast of lightning did not appear in the center of the room, scaring the daylight out of her. Good morning, Naruto had to duck a chair that nearly smacked in his head as a chair broke right through the door. Whoa, you know that wasn't very nice. What did that door ever do to you, Naruto said, as he took a seat in the couch. It's too early for this crap, kid. I haven't gotten much sleep, and I haven't drank any sake to calm myself. So don't be smart with me, she said. As Naruto chuckled to himself. So Shizune took your alcohol away, huh? Well, you should be drinking on job anyway, Bachan. It's bad for your health. Oh, shut up, she said. What do you want, she asked. As Naruto shrugged off her irritated nature. I was hoping you could give me a mission, he said. She tilted her head. I suppose I could do that. It would be good for you to integrate yourself with the other ninjas again anyways. As she started to go through the scrolls looking for a good mission, we will have to find you a team and... Before anything could happen, as something burst right through the window, getting both of them on high alert. It was a black ball of cloth. As it unrolled, as the window was closed last night, so glass shattered everywhere. The ball unfurled to relieve a woman that Naruto only met once, but she left an impression on him. so he would never forget. Uncle Midarashi reported for a mission as she went into a dramatic pose. Snappy eyebrow twitched violently as she stared at the woman. Uncle, how many times have I told you not to come through the window? Uncle rubbed the back of her head with an amused expression. Well, let's see. I think this makes it around 300 times, I think. Her eyes then landed on Naruto. Why, hello there. So what do we have here, she said. As she walked up to him, as she was walking in a rather seductive way. It is that delicious namikaze. Uzumaki namikaze actually, Naruto said that grin, as he decided to play along with the woman. And you, uncle, you're just the same as I remember. You're still a crazy, psychotic, sexy bitch, he said. Oh, such kind words, she said, as she trailed a finger along his jawline. You know, if I wasn't dating Haruka-kun right now. Wait, what? Naruto said in surprise. You're dating Haruka? When and how did that happen, he asked. Oh well, it's quite the story, let me tell you. She was just about getting the details when a cough interrupted them. If you two are not going to grab a mission, then take your discussion somewhere else, said Snaddy. As the both of them looked at Snaddy. We'll take the mission, the both of them said in unison. Time skip, Danzo paced back in front as he tried to find a way around the recent problems caused by one Naruto Namikaze. Who would ever thought that the boy would have the audacity to let all of Konoha know about his Jinchuriki status? That was easily one of the most brilliant political moves that he had ever seen. It made the younger generation lose faith in the old, and it also made the blonde grow more respect and all that much more powerful in the village. The fact that the older generation could not do anything about his Jinchuriki status because they call him a hero when his heritage was released, as they call him the proud Namikaze hero, so it would just make them look like a hypocrite. That was bonus from the young clan head, as the boy was reminding him more and more of Minato, and he's becoming more of a problem for Danzo. If the boy was just a loudmouth with no real sense for politics just like his mother, then it would have been easy to control him. But the boy was not dumb, as he went through all of that trouble to stun Naruto's growth until he could get him in his root when he was younger. But because of this now, he was sure that that could have never happened. Perhaps he could get one of his root on Naruto's team. That will help him keep an eye on the boy and find some kind of weakness to exploit. But who can do this task? He raised a hand as one of his envoys flashed in front of him. Get me Tori, said Danzo, as the envoy nodded and flashed away. Time skip, Naruto looked over the sea with a calm smile on his face as he took in a deep breath. After being cooped up in the village like that and going to all those council meetings, he has never felt so free to see the world again. Ever since his training with Ero Sensei, he had developed something as a wandering spirit, as he loved to get out and see the world. Currently, he was on a B-rank mission that had the possibility of turning into an A-rank mission because of the unknown circumstances that concerned the mission. It seemed that ships were being attacked off the coast of the land of sea by a sea monster that was being called the Kaima by the local populace. Not much was known about this monster. That is why several merchants has decided to hire Konoha shinobi to take care of the problem. Naruto then heard puking as he turned to see the poor Ino Yamanaka. As soon as the ship started to move, she got seasick. It seems like most of their time on the ship, she had been in the same spot as she was at the beginning. Seeing the girl who has always been so loud vomiting over the side made him chuckle. It's not funny, as he saw Ino glaring at him right before she turned green and started to vomit over the side. Sorry, Naruto said. I just thought that someone like you wouldn't get motion sickness. Deciding to be a good teammate, he walked over as he rubbed her back in a soothing motion. Stupid sea, stupid boat, she mumbled as she puked over the side again. Uncle seeing this, she walked over towards them. So, I spoke with the captain. He said that we will get to the port within an hour. As she then looked over at Ino. Aw, it's a poor baby sick, she said as she cooed a baby noise. You know, I can fix that up for you. How would you like Uncle Midarashi's super secret fix any ailment treatment? Uncle asked. No, thank you, said Ino. I know what your treatment is. All you would do is beat the crap out of me until you thought I was cured. Anko gave a pout before turning towards Naruto. What about you, handsome? Any ailment that need curing? Well, Naruto said, I do have this odd muscle that seems a bit stiff. Perhaps you can help me with that. You know I can't do that, she said. Iruka-kun will get mad at me. But, she thought to herself. Of course you can join us. Anko burst out laughing when she saw Naruto start to puke as well. Time skip, Ino gave a sigh of relief as she stepped off the ship. Finally, I hated that ship, she said. Alright kid, Hokage said you're in charge. So what are your orders, said Anko, looking at Naruto. As she stretched, causing several of the men on the docks passed out from blood loss because the trench coat that she was wearing got loose. You know I'm your superior in this mission, Anko. You really think calling me kid is the best idea, Naruto said. This coming from the man who called the Hokage Bachan. Touche, Naruto said. He was about to say something when he spotted something out of the corner of his eye. A young woman who looked to be around 2 or 3 years older than him. She had an average height of 5 feet 5 inches. Shoulder-length black hair and 2 bangs that was tied at the bottom of her face. She was wearing a blue shirt that was several sizes too big for her. It went down straight past her knees. It was held around her waist by a white piece of cloth she wrapped around her waist several times. Her shorts were dull brown, and she was barefoot. There was also several bandages, as it was covering her forehead, her cheeks, her neck, and her forearm, and her left leg and her right arm as well. And he saw something. Those look in her eyes, they held a sense of hopelessness that he knew very well. The same look he had when he was younger and suffering under the loneliness of the village. But he noticed people were glaring at her, and the whispers they spoke. The way they looked at her, like she was some monster or plague. Watch where you're going, you freak. Naruto's eyes hardened as he saw some teenager purposely knock into her, knocking her bag out of her hand. As the contents of the bag went out of it, as Naruto resisted the urge to slam her saying shuriken in that boy's face. He walked over to the woman and he started to help her to put by the things in the bag. She looked at him for a second. He looked up, he saw a brief flick of emotion, but it then vanished from her face. When all of her groceries were back in the bag, she simply stood up and left. How rude, Ino said, as she and Anko walked up. She didn't even say thank you. As Naruto ignored Ino, did you see it, he said to Anko. Yeah, Anko said. As she rubbed her neck where the cursed seal was, she had that hopeless look in her eyes. Shino, did you put a bug on her? Of course, Namikaze-san, said Shino. Just Naruto, Shino. I dislike titles, said Naruto. Alright, Shino, I want you to follow that girl. Don't make your presence known, just tell me where she goes and what she does. When he received a nod, he turned around to Ino. I want you to use your mind jutsu to discreetly gather information from the villagers. Anything you can find about the monster and that girl, it will be useful. And you, Anko, I want you to question the sailors to what they know about the Kaima. And make sure to be discreet. And when you say discreet, what do you mean exactly, Anko asks. I mean, I want them perfectly capable of walking when you're done. As Anko pouted, what will you be doing, Naruto-san, said Shino. Jiraiya has a contact located here, so I'm going to speak to that person and see what they know. As they split up, back at Konoha, Tsunade slumped down at the information she just received. Her eyes were seeing it, but her mind couldn't process it. As guilt took over, many thoughts ran through her head. Part of her wondered if this was God's way of playing some kind of a cruel joke. Whatever the case, what she just found out made her want to run away from Konoha. Again, out of shame, especially since it was something done to her. As she wondered if Jiraiya knew. If the pervert didn't know, she would pound him into next year. No, he couldn't know. She wiped away a few tears from her eyes. She cannot deal with this now. She will have to deal with this later. Hopefully several years later. Time skip. Naruto was looking over the information he received from this group. The first piece of information was about the girl. Her name was Aisarabe. Ino went through the memories of several people here and find out some useful information about the girl. The first one being a lot of people hated her, the same way he was hated in Konoha. It was the fear of the unknown. Ino found out that Aizurabi along with 39 children went missing one day. Vanished, with not even a trace of them being found. Many people made up some superstition about it being monsters. Sure, it was a monster that done it, but not the type they were thinking of. But then, 5 years later, Aizurabi reappeared, much to everyone's shock. She was also the only one to come back from where she and the others were taken. This had led the people to believe that she was transformed into a monster and come to somehow destroy the village. It did not help. The same day she returned, several ships were attacked and destroyed. This led to Shino's discovery when he followed Aizurabi, who lived in a shack on the northeast coast. There, the girl showed off her ability to transform, that Shino described as very fish-like before taking off into the water. This confirmed that she was linked somehow to the Kaima. But it also brought up many questions. Why was this girl attacking ships? He saw that look in her eyes of hopeless despair, so he knew that she was not a bad person. This gave him the idea that someone was using her for their own means, which connect with the information Uncle found. The ships had always had two things of connection. The first one was money, or something that could earn money. This made it easy to see that someone wanted money to gain something for something obviously illegal. And since Aizurabi lived in a shack, Naruto knew it was not her. And the second thing was, the more people on board, the more the ship was attacked. When Naruto went to contact Jiraiya foreman, he found out some really disturbing information. The first was that, about 18 years ago, Orochimaru passed through here with Anko. Apparently, Anko was found in a shack located off the course, with no memory of what happened. But the fact that Orochimaru came here was cause for concern, and what had led him on towards the conclusion of what really happened here. One of Orochimaru's laboratories are still here, and someone was using it, not the snake-san himself though. The man had not been seen over 10 years here, so that ruled out the possibility of being him. However, it could be one of his subordinates. All they need to do now is follow Aizurabi and apprehend the person responsible. Naruto then heard a knock at his door, as he already knew who it was. "Come on in," he said. "How can I help you, uncle?" "Well, I just came to tell you I didn't find anything else," she said, as she rubbed the seal on her neck. "Is it acting up again?" he asked. Uncle narrowed her eyes. "How do you know about that?" she asked him. "Uncle, everyone knows who your sensei is. It's impossible not to know the jutsu you use. Also, I remember Sasuke used it in our fight, before he went to play hide the snake in the trousers with the pedophile." Uncle snickered a bit at that, before she sat down. "Yeah, it's been acting up again." "How long?" Naruto asked. "It started around the time that I got here. I don't know why, but I think it has something to do with some of the memories that has been resurfacing." "What kind of memories?" Naruto asked, as he went to sit down beside her in case she needed to be comforted. "They're not much, just flashes, but most of what I saw was the silhouette of people. However, I do remember being in pain. Other than that, I just saw him in the dreams." As Naruto rubbed her back in a soothing motion. "I just can't remember what he was saying." "I see," Naruto said. "It probably have to do with the fact that Orochimaru had a base here. Seeing that the man is not here himself, it's just acting up because of his presence in the land. If you like, when you get to Konoha, I would look at the seal and see if I can do something about it." Uncle Ed twisted around, moving so fast Naruto was surprised that her neck did not break. "What do you mean do something about it?" she asked, in a mixture of hope and guarded. "I mean, I could look at the seal. While a part of Orochimaru is considered Juinjutsu, a part of it is still Fuinjutsu. That means there may be a way to get rid of the seal, or at least counter the effects." "So you can get rid of the snake bastard seal?" Uncle asked. As she always hated that thing, she has always felt like she was owned by him, because it was on her. "To be honest, I'm not 100% sure, but given enough time, I'm possible I can work something out. Or at least make a better seal than the one you have." As Naruto then got up and stretched. "Anyway, it's getting pretty late. We should get some rest because of the long day we have ahead of us tomorrow." "Good night, uncle," he said. "Good night, kid," she said, as she walked out of the room, going as she plopped down on her bed, as she wondered if he can truly do something about that, as she let sleep take her. The next morning, the four got up bright and early and made their way over to the shack where Aizurabi lived. as Naruto made sure that they stay in a tree line just off the beach so that the girl would not see them as she left. Because of how early they got there, it was a several-hour wait before she finally made her appearance. As she walked out and went over to the ocean, it was then Naruto and the others saw her change in appearance, her transformation. She looked like a cross between a human and a fish, as she had light blue scales all over her body that spread out from the bandage areas. Her ears looked like small fins, they had small spikes at the end and looked webby. Likewise, her hands and the feet had same webby look. Her hair was like a giant fin that spread back, as it was also scaly and webby. As she jumped in the water, as Naruto and his team shot off following her. As they were following her, Naruto used his water affinity until they got to an island. As Naruto couldn't feel her anymore in the water, it seemed like she went through one of the underground trenches. As he started to give out orders, alright, we're going to be splitting the team of twos. Shino and I will make one group while Anko and Ino will form another. Be sure to keep your headsets on when you find the entrance and do not try to enter yourself, inform the others. Chances are high that this place will have a lot of traps, so it would be better to do this as a group. Anko and the others nodded. Well, knowing that snake bastard, I would not be surprised if this place had a lot of traps. Come on girl, let's head out, said Anko. As the two of them left riding around the eastern side of the island, Naruto and Shino headed around the western side of the island. Shino was in the front, sending bugs ahead of them to make sure there was no traps or shinobis waiting for them. After several minutes, Shino perked up. Naruto-san, my bugs, had located the entrance on the northern side of the island. It is several meters inland. Girls, Naruto said, as he made contact. Shino Bugs has found the location. It's on the northern side of the island. If you get there first, make sure you wait for us. Gotcha, we're almost there, so we will wait for you, said Anko. As the two made their way over there and saw the girl waiting for them, as he arrived to a large door. As Naruto saw a camera currently focused on them, there was a mesh on the ground part of the door, meaning that it pulled up, it was not pushed in. Anko gave the camera a wave. So, how are we gonna bust this thing down, she asked. I want you three to step back, Naruto said. As they did as they were instructed, as Naruto created a clone that started to form a Rasengan, as he added his wind affinity to it. He had yet to fully master this jutsu because he wanted a way to throw it. But, by using a clone for now, he could have the clone use a jutsu while he stood back. But the clone didn't have as much chakra as he did, so it would be not as powerful as the original attack. About half power will be there. Still, it should be enough for the door. As it became pure white, as a screeching sound could be heard, as the clone thrust forward and smashed it, as it exploded upon the door. Anko and the others had to close their eyes as a large dome engulfed the door. Large dust and debris was kicked up as violent gusts threatened to throw them out of there. When it was finally over, they opened their eyes and gaped at the sight that they saw. Not only was the door completely gone, but everything else in 20-foot radius. Even the side of the mountain was round where the attack had hit. As Naruto walked up, the other three followed. What the hell was that? Anko said, finally rebooting out of her shock. That was a complete form of the Rasengan, Naruto said. Complete form, said Ino. Yes, it was only known to a few people, but the Rasengan was an incomplete jutsu. When my father first made it, he wanted to combine his natural affinity to it. That is what this was. I call it Rasengan Shuriken. Meanwhile, inside, you stupid girl! Jiraiya fell to the ground, as a scientist known as Amaki smacked her. Having grown used to it over the years, she just picked herself back up. How could you let those pesky ninjas follow you? Amaki asked. Amaki was a very short man, standing about 5 feet 3 inches in height. He was wearing brown pants, a grey shirt, and a white laboratory coat. He had beady-looking black eyes, and the top of his head was bald, only the side had hair. Altogether, he looked like one of those mad scientists. I did not let them follow me, Jiraiya said. I didn't even see them near me. I only met them once in the city. I don't want to hear any of your excuses, he said, as he moved over towards the computer. No, I got to deal with these insects, he said. Can you handle them, he asked. Of course, the boy said as the person stepped out of shadows. He was wearing purple clothing. He had on sunglasses and a bandana covering his face. Come on, you stupid girl. We have to go catch a ship, said Amaki. And don't mess up this time. If you do, I'll never give you the cure to return back to normal. Jiraiya followed him as a single tear slipped down her cheek. Moments later, Naruto, Anko, Ino and Shino walked down the hall slowly in case there were any traps. The place was dank, dark and wet, just what he expected from Orochimaru. Given who this base previously belonged to and who it was occupied by, Naruto would have expected some traps, but he saw none. As they arrived to another large door like the one outside, he could not use Rasengan Shuriken for this or the entire place would collapse. As Naruto pulled out his blade, all the group was seen was flashes of lights. As he didn't even move, as they wondered what the hell happened. Once he was finished, he put back his sword that clicked. As the door then split into several pieces. The wonders of Wing Chakra, Naruto said, knowing that they were going to ask how he got the door down. Wait, if you could have done this, why didn't you do that with the other door, Ino asked. Naruto blinked, a good question. He then shrugged, to be honest. I didn't think about this until just now. With that said, he walked inside. Stepping inside, he saw all. It was lots of lab equipments, tubes, computers, monitors, all showing datas on the same experiment, something as Jiraiya. As Naruto's blood boiled when he saw some of the tubes, they had strange creatures in them. They were once humans that were turned, experimented on. Many of the creatures looked similar to Jiraiya with scales, webbed hands and feet. Spread out and look around, Naruto said, but do not touch anything. We don't know if these things have traps on them. As Naruto looked at one of the creatures, this one looked the closest to Jiraiya. He could not understand, as the things were going down on the monitors, but he hopefully Tsunade could understand them. As he placed his hand on one of the seals on his chest, and there was a small poof of smoke, and a device came out. It was a new form of technology that had not reached the markets yet. He got it from one of the scientists that were working for Koyoke. One of the many benefits for being engaged to the daimyo. It was called a USB drive, cracking down information and compiling it from computers like these. Naruto had no clue how the thing actually worked, but he could download data and place on another. As he plugged it into one of the slots in the computer, as he watched a green bar appear and started slowly fill up. What you doing, kid? Anko asked, as Naruto turned. I'm downloading data from this computer. This is a new technology I got while I was in the land of spring. It's designed to download data so we can look through it later. Hopefully we can find out something useful, and maybe even some information on Orochimaru. So you got that in the land of spring, huh? Was this before or after you made that porno with the daimyo? Anko asked. You know, I got to hand it to you, kid. You got some pretty big balls to do something like that. I also got to thank you for all the material you gave me and Iruka-kun. I really don't want to hear about your sexual life with my brother figure, Anko. The device gave a small bing to let it know that it was done, as Naruto unplugged it. Alright you guys, it's obvious who was here had left for the moment, so let's get out of here and plan for our next move. Ino and Shino came back over to them. Before they could even get anywhere near the entrance, the floor dropped out from underneath them. Time skip. Naruto groaned as he stood up. While the fall was not enough to kill any of them, it hurt. As he looked over the others, he went over to Anko. As he shook her awake, Anko, he said. She snapped open her eyes. What happened? She said. As he went and helped up Ino, who just woken up. You okay? Yeah, I mean I have one of the worst headache ever, but I'm fine, she said. At least you don't have seasickness, Naruto said. Shut up, Ino mumbled. That was the most unpleasant experience, said Shino. It seemed that we fell for some kind of trap. The only question is what kind, Naruto said. As he looked around the tunnel, there seemed to be only one way to go, with the other end blocked. Look like we don't have a choice but to go this way. But keep an eye out for more traps, Naruto said. The other three nodded as they got into a triangle formation, with Naruto covering the front and Anko covering the rear. Several minutes later, they found themselves in a decent sized room. As they felt their instincts kick in, as they all flashed away as kunais and shurikens buried where they were. Your reaction times are quite impressive, said the voice. Who are you? Show yourself, said Ino. Now why would I do that? Naruto looked around trying to locate the sound of the voice, but it was just bouncing off all the walls. He flared his chakra as he could not detect a human shape. Besides, from the tree next to him. However, he could see a door on the other side, someone who had to deal with this. If they want to get to the door. Shino, Naruto whispered. Can you handle this guy? Of course, Naruto-san. You three may go ahead, while I take care of this. Naruto nodded as two other members followed him, as they made a mad dash towards the door. Don't think it will be that easy to get away. Several kunais were launched at them, but a swarm of bugs stopped the kunais. Your opponent is me, said Shino. Very well, after I kill you then, I'll go and get them. That is if they don't get them first. The voice said, a mad laugh. Shino did not respond and he sent his bugs out. Seconds later, Naruto cursed as several traps activated, launching kunais and shurikens at them. As Naruto quickly picked up Anko and Ino, as he used one of his jutsus to flash the whiff in place, the jutsu called Flash Step. It was similar to the Hiroshin, but unlike that, this was based off of pure speed. By using a combination of wind and light, Naruto was able to move at speed that would match the Hiroshin, channeling lightning chakra in the bottom of the feet and create a dense layer of pure wind chakra to boost the speed immensely. A burst of speed that left a yellow streak in its way. As he placed the two females down on their feet, who were surprised as hell, as he looked around the large room that they were in now. As he was looking around, Ino spoke. What the hell was that, she asked. Looking back at her, what was what? That thing you used to get us over here so fast. It's a family technique, that's all Naruto said. As they started to walk off again, when they were about halfway to the exit, they heard a screeching sound. As Naruto channeled chakra into his eyes, as they went back to back. As Naruto saw several bodies outlined of the creatures he saw back in the lab. As he saw their eyes open and glow, the light green color. What the hell are these? Ino screamed, as she saw the eyes staring at them. Most likely the experiments of Orochimaru, or whoever owned this place now. There is quite a few of them, and who caused this is not here. We don't have time to play around, Anko said. As the creatures started to surround them, they were indeed the creatures they found in the upper lab. Kid, go ahead, let the girl and I deal with this. You sure? Naruto asked. There's a lot of them. Yeah, sure, we will be fine, said Anko, but Ino looked like she wanted to disagree. Naruto pulled something out of his pouch and threw it to Anko. Here, catch. If you need help, don't be afraid to call, Naruto said. And with that, he burst off in pure speed. One of the creatures flashed right in front of him to attack him, but Naruto greeted Rasengan in a second and drive it right through the creature, as he just flipped past it and headed off. Said Anko as she pulled a kunai and licked the tip. Now that the kid is gone, let's have some fun. What the hell do you mean fun? Can't you see we're surrounded? Said Ino. But guys, we'll be in this episode right here. If you want the next part, just know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn that bell notification to stay posted. Remember, share to all of your friends in your social media platform. And stay tuned for the rest of the what is coming your way, and I hope you guys enjoy each and every one of them. But for now, I'm out of here. See you guys soon. Peace.